All right, good afternoon. We're back with another Tune Kind at 12 frames. My name is Kraken. I'm pulling out the Bilgerat to play.
And I'm the one playing with Kraken. I am the jazziest AAA battery this side of the county line, or just Jazz for short, and I'm playing Little Joe, who, well, Bildrat has had a time thus far. But he's determined. Bildrat is trying to talk to this robot again.
This is Take Two Electric Boogaloo. Or, as the title of this has turned out to be because it's stuck, what do you mean you are two people?
Um, yeah.
Uh,
As he said in the main server announcement, was the last Explorer session went. It sure went. Everyone got cursed. They seem to have more effects for some folks than others. Um, and after all of that, Bildrat, it's finally just. I imagine it finally just sunk in for Bildrat. Like, wait. So you feel like that the entire time, and you didn't
yeah,
tell us?
a lot was happening.
Yeah. And now that everything's a bit settled down, he's probably finally
Wait a minute.
gotten unstuck from Little Joe's side. Uh,
I think there's like another hour on that curse at least.
um, yeah. So after all that, everything settled down. Bildrat's decided to try to confront him again, but this time he's got a foolproof plan. Little Joe reacts when Bildrat gets upset at the things he says. So this time, Bildrat's just not going to get upset. How hard can it be?
He is taking a chill pill. He refuses to be ruffled. Everything's gonna be great. Maybe that. Where is Little Joe hanging out right now?
We left off around like the shoreline of the island, right? Didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then he's probably honestly just lying on the ground, idly fucking around with whatever, what have you. Possibly, what is it? I think it's cardistry tricks. Not actually like playing cards, like just sleight of hand things with them. He's just fucking
Being
around.
fancy.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I think Bildrat had been looking over the, new boat that can help take them places rather than the fucked up little thing that actually brought them into the island.
Yeah.
But having done that and having had the day in general calm down, yeah, he absolutely has thought of like, well, wait a minute. And luckily for him,
This
Little Joe was
three
not hard to
dots appearing.
find.
Yeah, the three dots appearing over his head.
It's like, hold on a minute.
Yeah, Little Joe's just away from everything.
And Bildrat's gonna walk over, again, kind of casual strolling, not hiding his approach. And Little Joe probably doesn't look up, but just sort of stops nearby, a few steps away from him, and just goes, "So, have you always been two people?"
Little Joe probably does a sort of raised eyebrow expression, because you're starting with that.
Yeah,
But,
out the gate.
But, he just, like, lets the cards in his hand just, like, fall back into just a regular deck. Uh, technically no. As long as I known you, though.
Hmm. What's that like? How does that work?
Mm, it's, it's probably a bit different than, your average fusion stuff, just because we're both, digital, robot stuff. Um, but and he leans back in thought because he never really had to explain this to anyone before, so he's just thinking. It feels like both of us consistently intertwined and against each other, moving in tandem, and you know, we can easily communicate with each other, so everything's in sync.
I think first I need to roll history for Bilgerat to see if he knows what the hell fusions are.
Fair enough.
He does not. Maybe he's heard the word before, but he doesn't know exactly what Little Joe is referencing.
Fair enough.
And you know what? In the past, he would have pretended to know exactly what Little Joe's talking about and just pick up context clues from there. But here, Bilgerat just kind of frowns, tails twitching a bit. He says, so this is like regular? This fusion thing? This anyone could be just two people and you wouldn't know?
Not anyone. For most tunes, it's a lot more complicated, you know? But again, digital robot stuff, you know, just put two parts in the same body. Though we're also kind of different because we're supposed to be one robot in the first place. It's the thing. System glitch. System glitch on the assembly line. But yeah, most tunes, it's hard for them to do it, and it's a lot harder to stay together for extended periods of time.
Huh. Bilgerat seems to take that in for a moment. Little Joe, you could roll insight if you liked.
Might as well. What is this for that? Nah.
Nah.
I don't care.
Yeah. Bilgerat just seems to be mulling this over. So, well, you're kind of, Bilgerat doesn't seem to know how to articulate what he's thinking right there, so he actually switches tracks. And my brain just dropped it. It was. Hold on.
I was gonna say Little Joe would just go, "Cat got your tongue wrapped, boy?"
There's it's like an annoyed twitch, but it's deliberately not reacting. It's just never heard of that before. It's just it just seems like with two people I don't know, it just doesn't seem like you are, so it was a surprise. But then also
when you mentioned it was a surprise, you just kind of leans over. It's in my name, you know. It's not like I tried to hide it. I've got the entire tooth thing going on. My outfit's half and half.
Yeah. I think with Bilgerat's general knowledge of games and such, Bilgerat just looks at Little Joe and just, I thought you were being ironic.
Well, that's a bonus point.
I don't think anyone was supposed to look at someone and be like, oh yeah, that's two people. That would be like looking at me and saying, oh yeah, that's not a whole person.
I don't know, are you a whole person?
According to some.
Good enough, I suppose.
See, exactly. It's good enough. But,
Any particular reason you decided to talk to me, or?
well, I was curious, but also the way you talked and are talking about it, it's like you talk like you weren't always like this. You were separated at one point, but
Yeah.
how did you
Yeah.
know that?
We just knew. Like, each of us has missing bits of code which the other has. And being the whole digital thing, born from the same glitch, it kind of leaves a trace in your system. So, you know, we just knew. It's
Mm,
also a lot more obvious when you start to take into consider the missing physical parts, because that was a thing that happened too.
do you was it just like a freak accident that you ended up?
I don't know if you'd even call it an accident. I mean, glitches happen.
Yeah, and they're
I
not
like I'm the
purposeful
only
by
defect to have
definition.
ever existed. Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
uh, the whole point of glitches is that they aren't purposeful, so thereby accident.
Nah.
Bilgerat just takes that shrug as like, he's right.
um, uh, what I was saying is, they happen all the time. It's not like I'm the only defect to have ever existed. Just this particular glitch happened to make two instead of one. Which was new at the time.
Yeah. And how did how did that work out for you? Wherever you came from.
Uh, well, started out where, uh, and at this point, um, the thing he did earlier, where his voice like swaps, um, and like his face will swap, he switches to the one that introduced itself as Scrappy with the smaller eye and larger smile. Um, so when we first started, I wasn't awake. I couldn't move. Um, and then he swaps to the other one, which is Lottie with the blue eye and the the line mouth. I was the only one awake. Um, and then they do his normal voice again. The factory owner thought it was like funny, I guess, amusing, whatever. 'Cause, it was something he'd never seen before. Um, so he swaps over to Lottie's voice, and I was so functional, so kept me as a janitor of sorts. Uh, I have to keep articulating because I can't use the voice changer. But it goes by Scrappy.
Voice
And
acting hell.
I was just a pile of parts in the corner for a while. Uh, Back to main Little Joe. And for a while, that's how it was. Um, till, back to Lottie. Um, there was a point where I started to, you know, parts here and there. They wouldn't miss them. Everything is mass produced, anyways. Out of thousands of parts, who misses one? And pretty soon, I was awake again. And of course, uh, casino owner coming in looking for a new batch. we were cheap, because, we're defects. He thought we were funny. Again, same as the owner. Thought we were amusing. Uh, so bought us with the rest of the batch. Took us home. Home. And he does, the air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Close to home as you can get.
Yep. Bilgerat's listening to this. I think even without particular insight, Little Joe could tell Bilgerat's kind of baseline agitated.
Yeah.
But
does Bilgerat speak up, or is Little Joe just gonna keep going?
I mean, if Little Joe looks like he's going to keep going, Bilgerat will let him.
Alright. For a while, it was just us in the casino doing, terrible odd jobs no one else wants to do. And this would be how it is. Not just for a defect, we're a D6, look at us.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Is everyone else not?
You play dice games, dice are different amount of sides, right?
Yeah.
Smallest is a D4, so there's dice spots that are D4s, and they're little spider things sometimes. They transport small items, messages, whatever. Next up is robots like me, D6s, menial tasks, chores, whatever. Above that, your D8. They tend to be folks who deal with people more often. They look a lot sharper, a lot skinnier. Above that, D10s, which are a lot more expensive and specialized designs. So they can look like whatever the hell. Above that, your D12s tend to be bouncers or bodyguards. They're a lot bigger than D20s, which are also specialized designs, but those are expensive as hell, so you only ever see them with, like, the rich folk. Specific bodyguards for specific people. They're huge. They tend to look shiny and stupid. But, that's how it happens.
Huh. Okay. Hold on. Brain bork.
It happens.
Yeah. Bilgerat's listening to this very intently. He's being a very good listener. Good news.
Sometimes that's how it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. You're just like, but eventually you left.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. I didn't leave. I mean, I did leave. God help me, I never want to go back to that city. But it was less. I didn't have a choice. The robots aren't allowed to leave the city usually. Because they're indebted to their owners. They're purposefully created with a debt to all the materials used for their construction. And whoever buys them, that debt gets transferred to that owner, and they have to work to pay it off. Except, rarely ever happens like that. But then God, which one was it? Was it second or third? I don't remember. One of the casinos I worked at. I don't remember which one in the order. It went under because of fraud investigations. One too many. Whatever. It got shut down. I'm sure it went to a different building in a different district of the city. But so it got shut down, and they auctioned off all the rest of the robots, and no one wanted the defect. So my jet just kind of went poof. No one bought it. So and I'll have to roll hammer space for this. Give me just a sec. So he reaches into his neck hole and he pulls out like a digital display kind of thing. But like there's like a hack on the back of it and there's wires that stick out of it. The wires have been cut. And he pulls it out. This is my debt clock. It just deactivated. I I could leave the city. You know? Um I
So
went with two investigators that came to the casino. Because I didn't know what the hell to do.
it's an interesting loophole that.
I'm sure they fixed it by now.
Yeah, yeah, plug in loopholes. That's. Hmm. And then that's, that you were on your way out in the world, whatever, and cool. Cool, cool. Thanks for telling me that.
You asked.
I didn't actually expect you to answer.
He just kind of shrugs. He's not gonna give you more of an answer than that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bilgerat can try to roll insight, I suppose.
Let's do it. Insight, +1.
Yeah.
8.
Little just shrugs. Goes back to doing card checks.
Hmm. And I think Bilgerat actually ends up just kind of sitting down where he was. A few steps away from Joe. Seems to be thinking. No, he's probably going to pull his own fidget thing from Hammerspace. Hey! There we go.
Nice.
Fumble time.
Does Bilgerat have a custom chart?
He does. What's an
He
8?
does.
What's
Oh,
an
boy.
8? Fumble chart. Absolutely incredible. He pulls out a set of weighted dice.
Is that a challenge, rat boy?
Bilgerat looks at the dice in his hand and he goes, not with these. He's gonna put them down.
Just gives, like a sly smile, like he probably figured it out.
Yeah, he probably knew the instant. All right. That's a success this time. He pulls out. Where'd they go? He actually pulls out a different set of dice, but rather than shiny and new, but to Joe obviously weighted, these are.
Or these are the
shitty dice.
Yeah, the handmade ones.
Handmade, lumpy, uneven edges, look more like rock. This is a shitty thing of fucking dice. And he's just fiddling with them.
When Bilgerat pulls it out, Little Joe probably kind of laughs looking at him. Because Little Joe's been in casinos and these dice are shit.
Absolute crap.
But I don't think he'd say anything.
Yeah. If Bilgerat laughs, Bilgerat kind of shoots a look like, hey now. But it's just kind of throwing them from hand to hand.
Again, Little Joe doesn't say anything, but he does do like a hand motion sort of. It's like, look at them.
They're a gift. The kid doesn't have thumbs.
Fair enough, I suppose. Definitely look like they're made by someone without thumbs.
Yeah, but there's still kind of crap even for that, which is interesting, but don't say no to gifts in the mail.
argue with that, I guess.
I guess being two people, like, that's, at least you're not, like, lonely.
Never. He adopts he gets like a huge smile on his face.
Sounds really nice.
It's something.
It's,
Well,
what,
you,
what was Joe gonna say?
you were just gonna call back to the earlier fusion thing. Like, though I'm not sure if I'd recommend it for, you know, other tunes, considering.
Yeah, I don't know what all goes into that. I don't think I've seen it other than you, but you're already saying it's a bit of a special case for you.
Well, yeah, most tunes, aren't robots.
It's just kind of funny because it becomes weird then I haven't heard the term before. Or maybe not.
I mean, when I first left the city, I hadn't either. I had to learn.
I don't know. Maybe my first captain didn't know the term either.
Maybe not.
He's not the brightest bulb in the box. Give him that. Just very bullheaded.
Well, probably just Snickers.
And like, he'd say things and I thought he was full of piss.
Ain't that how it be with bosses sometimes? When they talk to you anyway.
And Bilgerat kind of snorts and shoots a look like, hey, he's technically the boss now. Little Joe did this. But yeah, this captain of mine, he'd say things like, I wasn't supposed to be like this, kind of gestures at himself. Wasn't supposed to actually exist because I was supposed to be part of something else as a whole.
I had words and I lost them. Little Joe probably just kind of leaned back. Part of a whole, eh?
Yeah.
Little Joe's trying to, joke about, his whole situation, but I'm not sure if Bilgerat picks up on that.
Unfortunately, no, Bilgerat doesn't. Bilgerat's in his own head.
Fair enough. I mean, I can't speak for your situation, but, I guess part of the whole for me, I mean, aside from, two parts of the one whole, would have been more for just fitting into the workforce. So it's slightly similar, I guess.
A little bit, except I, always, again, thought he was full of crap. I didn't really feel anything. Like, it just sounded ridiculous. How could I be not me or complete as myself. Like, you know, it was all just really weird. I thought he was being superstitious. So now I'm just wondering if there was anything to it.
Somehow I doubt that being incomplete as yourself, your situation wouldn't correlate to ours.
Yeah, no, it's not an exact thing, but it's you know, it's given me things to think about.
I ain't giving you nothing to think about. I'm telling you, I'm going. The longer I do this, the more southern I get. God. I'm just trying to do nasally. All right. God, now I've lost my words. Shit. What the fuck was I gonna say? You were doing. I've completely lost it. God damn it.
Yeah, no problem.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same because I wouldn't want to. You know, the other counterpart isn't even really a person, so like, whatever. I'm me. I'm the person. I'm, you know, the independent. You know, you wreak a little havoc and you leave, and I need to be enough as me. And that's that.
Little Joe probably does more like affirming nod, sort of. But he doesn't say anything. He's just. It doesn't seem like it seems less like he's thinking about things and more he just may or may not have gotten bored.
Just keep on nodding until the rat stops talking.
No, like he's listening, but also, yeah. He's just going back to his card tricks.
Lo just like, this isn't a me problem.
Yeah.
This is entirely a you problem, whatever the hell this is.
Yeah. Like he's listening, but also.
He's being the rubber duck.
Yeah.
Just, you know, it's valuable enough on its own. So, wait. Bilgerat actually kind of sits up straight. Like, hold on.
Hmm?
Should we be referring to you any other way? Like...
No.
He, him's good, not they, them?
He, they. Pick one.
Okay. Alright. Just checking.
Little Joe probably rolls his eye.
That's what Bilgerat gets for trying to, like, be considerate. Think critically.
What Little Joe's thinking is, why would I have introduced myself to you in a way that I wouldn't want to be referred to as? So.
That's fair. But listen, Bilgerat's worldview has only been shaken up a little bit.
Thus far.
I made the mistake of looking in the gallery. Diversity win. The robot that bullies you for sport uses he, they.
Thank you, Tala. Immortalized on recording forever.
Deserves to be.
Anything else you wanted to ask while you're here? He seems less half interested, half get it over with, man. You gotta ask something. Ask it. Come on.
This whole thing about being like a defect.
Yeah.
That was obviously important and affected your life and stuff in this city.
Of course it is.
But
I don't want a defect.
yeah. But it's...
No one wants a defect. No one wants to associate with a defect. No one, you're not allowed to be seen by the patrons because it's bad for, it looks bad on the company. Yada yada. It's...
But that's out there. That's not here.
Same thing.
No, it's not. It's a thing there because that's how the society works and whatnot, but like things are different outside of it because people aren't thinking, oh look, it's like defective robot, like you know. I didn't think you were that until you started saying it.
Little Joe, he leans forward and he's raising an eyebrow. It's like, someone seemed awful concerned when I started fighting before you knew anything.
Yeah, because I know you're con as shit. That's not defective. Some people are just like that.
So the fact that I'm made of metal didn't seem odd to the fact that I'm fragile, huh? I'm backing this up. Keep doing it.
Linguistic drift.
Pain.
I mean, by logics, you think it'd be more sturdy. I mean, look at Vinny. Makes a vague gesture in the direction of the ship where Vinny is presumably hanging out. Vinny, who has like an 18 AC because of Warforged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Little Joe's point. Like, that's how a robot should be.
Yeah, but, you know, it's just like a fact. All right, whatever. Whatever's going on inside is jank, and it's sense of being knocked about.
I don't understand the point what are you going on about?
The point I'm trying to make is your definition of defective still like working on what was in the past. He's like trying to articulate, like hand gestures are going full force. Crappy dice in one hand.
Little Joe, like, he rolls his eyes, like his head tilts over. Yes, I'm out of the city. I'm also still a defect. Just because I'm no longer there doesn't mean that stops.
Yeah, no, like the issues don't stop. The things you have to like keep in mind about yourself don't stop. That's the thing, but like within the city, people like you were worthless. Sounds right. Stop me if you're wrong. If I
Maybe less. Maybe less.
Stop me if I'm wrong. Okay, less than worthless.
Yeah,
but
usually.
That was like due to like purpose, and purpose is not the same.
Can you repeat that that last part? I missed the first part of the sentence. This word cut it off.
Let me think. Let me backtrack.
The purpose sentence.
Yeah. Uh, in the city, you were less than worthless because you couldn't fulfill your purpose, what you were built for, in the way you were supposed to. But like, purpose doesn't work the same on the outside. Like, my purpose was to fiction, and I wasn't even good at that. It didn't come natural. But that's, point is the issues and still stand, but it's like it doesn't make you worthless because that's not the metric that works on the outside.
Well, I feel like when Bilgerat starts going on about purpose, Little Joe just starts laughing. And in the middle, he's just, purpose! You think defects had a purpose? And, it's taking a lot for him to just not go into just raucous laughter.
Just hands go up in the air, just like sort of fed up gesture.
He's like doubled over laughing.
Excuse me for trying to get some self-worth into this. Like, come on.
He's still just laughing, like, you thought we had a purpose. You thought we had a job to do. Why do you think I always did odd jobs in every place I worked? No one's got a job for me.
Court gesture is still a job.
God. He just starts laughing more at that. If a robot could be in tears, that's probably where he'd be right now.
I think Bilgerat just stops talking and is just gonna let Little Joe ride this out. Just like, this is not gonna go anywhere. At the very least, until Little Joe stops losing it.
God. Yeah, he's just going on like, purpose. Oh my god. I think I was something defect that held a job for the longest. I think my longest job was what, a month? You think we got dedicated job?
Yeah, Bilgerat's just waiting for Little Joe to be done with, like, one eyebrow raised, like, are you done yet?
He's fucking losing it.
This is gonna take a while.
I feel like after, like, a while, he finally starts to settle down. He's the smile on his face is still huge, like a big goofy grin. But he eventually finally starts leaning back. That was a good one, Rat Boy. You think caring about defect?
I think Bilgerat is going to stand up, brush himself off, dice back in pocket, and just this is shaping up to be Bilgerat's potentially parting words, I guess. I don't know if you've got anything more. But Bilgerat's point just goes, no one cared about you back there and back then, but the point is, like, now we have a 5-year-old who'd be upset if you kicked it.
That's not my problem. You got attached to me. Why should I care?
Just saying. If Mesa starts crying, I have to deal with it.
And whose fault is that? I'm not trying to make friends. You're the one who decided to get attached to me. Your fault you get sad if I die.
There's just narrowed eyes and a sniff.
What more do you want from me? I'm a defect. I'm gonna die. That's how this works. I'm surprised I've lived this long.
Could make an effort to prolong it. You could, like,
That's not
give a
fun.
care.
I don't know enough, but he does like a big arm motion. He's just, that's not as fun. And he adopts that big shit-eating grin that he normally gets.
But fun. Wait, what do you mean? What?
I don't know if I'm gonna live or die. That's the fun part.
That's the stress. What? That's a stressful part.
Only if you let it.
My head is at my hands. We're at like a fundamental impasse of these two's understanding of Bilgerat survive at all costs. Little Joe, not that. And having reached, I think Bilgerat also is just like, arms in the air, big like whatever gesture, and unless Little Joe says something else, he's going to start walking away. He's not interested in turning this into a fight this time.
Your fault for caring, rat boy.
There is a rude gesture over shoulder back at you. Too late.
Little Joe just shrugs and goes back to his card tricks.
Yeah. Unless there's some sort of extra thing or epilogue. I think Bilgerat's last thing is just his walking away, hand drags down the face like, these two robots are going to be the death of me.
I don't have much of an epilogue other than Little Joe probably puts the debt clock back in hammer space.
Little Joe shrugs and takes a nap. The end.
Yeah. He's not phased at all.
All right.
Did I just say bye to the recording?
Yep. They
Bye.
had a civil conversation. Bye, everyone.